Man, we only 40 last 4 games, man. If you don't want to win by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. It ain't enough talking to be said. Ain't got nothing to be said, but we need to get a win, bro. We 0-4. We on the playoff street right now. This is a playoff game, bro. Let's win this game. We 0-4, bro. Let's win. Let's win. Let's win. That's the only thing on our mind today is a W, bro. Everything else, let's get a W. Let's go. Let's get a W, man. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win. Let's go.
Hey yo, what is up everybody? It's B Militant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host here on the Redskins review. First things first, I'm using a new microphone. It's my wife's microphone. I plan on getting one for Christmas. I'll probably end up getting some gift cards from, relatives or something like that. I'll try to get a microphone like this. So on to the game. We just got done watching the Jaguars versus Redskins game. And I watched it over at my buddy's house, who is a Jaguars fan. He also does YouTube. His channel is called Jaggin' Off. So if you want to check out another channel, go check his out. He's going through some rough times now. Having your team be in the playoffs last year and then, not look so good this year. Both teams didn't look very good today. I was rooting for another number 8 today, Josh Johnson. We should all be rooting for Josh Johnson because the sad reality is that he is a kind of a shoo-in candidate right now for our starting quarterback next year. And if you don't think that, I have some bad news for you. I'll try to leave the bad news out until the end of the video. I want this to be a positive video. The Redskins won today. I'm actually really happy. I'm really impressed with this football team and what they've done today. As you guys know, they showed a lot of heart, and as you guys know, in my last video, I was still on the fence about the whole Jay Gruden thing, whether to let Jay Gruden go or not. It's just because I understand that it's really hard to win in this league. If we plan on moving on from Jay Gruden, we need to have a set person that we have in mind that can come take his job, that we think can do better. And it's hard to sit here and say that we know someone's out there that can do better than Jay Gruden. Look at the injuries that we've had. We have the most people on IR right now in the NFL. We are the most hurt team in the NFL. And yes, it's just the Jacksonville Jaguars, but we still came out. We still were motivated. We still won a game with all these injuries. And you have to just give credit to Jay Gruden and some of the players. Also shout out to Mason Foster. We all know, what Mason Foster has been going through here recently and putting us, the fans, through recently. And, at the beginning of the season, I made that video. A lot of Redskins fans didn't like the video that I made about me talking about DJ Swearinger, telling he was basically in an interview told the Redskins fans to be loyal or something like that. Like he was talking about the fans. It rubbed me the wrong way. And that was just one of that was like kind of the last straw for me because there was other players talking about the fans or something like that. That was like the third incident about Redskins players talking about fans. So I basically made a video and said, hey, you're a player. Your job isn't to talk about fans. Your job is to perform, and then the fans will cheer you on. It's our job to be good fans and police the other fans in the fan base. You as a player, it's not your job to talk about the fans. And, that's the whole thing with Mason Foster. And I'm completely happy if he's gone next year. But I do have to give a shout out to him because he did come out in this football game and he had the most tackles on the team. And he looked like he wanted to prove something, like he came out fired up and he actually performed today. The entire defense started to fall apart in the second half. So, it's not like he was lights out or anything like that. But he definitely came out with a sense of urgency in the first half and was flying around making tackles and stuff like that. So I'm just glad to see that he didn't, after going through all this shit that he's been going through recently and, in the media, everyone's talking about what he's done I'm just glad that he didn't use that as like maybe like an excuse of playing poorly or whatever. Like, he used it as some type of motivation. And that also, like I said, got to give credit to Jay Gruden. And that's why I was on the fence last week about whether we should let Jay Gruden go or not. Because if you look at his record, what did they say his record was? Like 28-35 and 1 or whatever it is. Man, if you go back and look at the injuries that we've had the past few years and even this year, it's actually kind of really mind blowing that look at all the different offensive lines that we've had. We went into Seattle last year, where it's really hard to win, and we had all these backup offensive linemen. It wasn't a pretty game, just like this game wasn't pretty, but we gutted it out. So I just don't know if I'm ready to move on from Jay Gruden. He did things in this football game. You guys know in the last video I said, come watch Jay Gruden come out here and not pound the rock with Adrian Peterson. Now, I give him a pass in this game because he tried at times to run with Adrian Peterson, but our offensive line is just not getting the push that they needed. And the thing about Adrian Peterson is the reason why I want them to pound it with Adrian Peterson is because he's the type of guy that you can't just give him the ball a few times and expect him to be great. He's a guy who he needs to wear the defense out. You need to give him the ball 20 times a game, and then he will really pour it on, as we saw in the second half. At the end of the game, he kind of just ended the game by just grinding the other team out late in the stages of the game. And that's why I wanted to keep giving him the football, because I know sooner or later he's going to break that run that we need. He's going to score the points. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about this football game. A lot of positives. Josh Johnson, like I said, Josh Johnson has played just as good as Alex Smith has ever played this season for the Redskins. I mean, just look at his numbers. Yeah, he went 16 out of 25 for 151 yards, 1 touchdown. That's very Alex Smith-esque. This season with the Redskins, Alex Smith played 10 games. He has 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the season. He's basically scoring 1 touchdown a game. We end up running the football, controlling the clock. Our defense, the first half did pretty well, stopping the run. They did get worn down in the second half, but we kind of got back to that formula that we had at the beginning of the season. Josh Johnson has given this team a little bit of a spark. Now we have to play Tennessee next week, and I'm not saying we're going to win that football game or anything like that, but I've said it earlier in the season. I've said it whenever. I'm not a Marcus Mariota guy. I do not think highly of Marcus Mariota, and shit, he might come out here and whoop our ass next weekend or whatever, and I'm still not going to think that highly of Marcus Mariota. I think if we can rattle his cage, that's how you beat Marcus Mariota. Also, Greg Minuski really pissed me off in this football game, because you guys know at the very beginning we were getting after Cody Kessler, and even on third down we would blitz him, and we got to him, we sacked him, and then later on in the game it's third down and we just rushed like 3 people and put everyone into coverage and just give them all day. Like, I just don't understand that. Why change something up? We just know what worked. We got pressure on them and it worked. So why are you gonna back down now? I just don't understand the method. And also, even at the end of the game, he did go back to blitzing him, and we on a crucial third down, and we almost got him. And sure, they got the first down or whatever, but I'd much rather go out trying to blitz and try to get home, and being active proactive instead of just reactive with the guys that we have on the field. I think we got to do more of that, and especially if we're gonna beat Tennessee next week, if it's possible, we're gonna have to get after the quarterback, man. And Man, what about Ryan Kerrigan? We need... Last week when we were talking about Jordan Reed, I said Jordan Reed encompasses everything that is wrong with the Redskins. We keep too many people on this football team who have talent, but if they're not here to play, if they're injured all the time, they're not helping us. They're wasting space for us. Basically, we need to get away from harboring all these injured people. And I'm basically said I'm ready to move on from Jordan Reed, but we need to find more people like Ryan Kerrigan. You saw today. Now he is the second most. He has the second most sacks in the Redskins history. The guy showed up. Now, granted, the Jaguars' offensive line is, I'm pretty sure, really shot like ours is. So of course these guys should have been getting after Cody Kessler all day. But guess what? Ryan Kerrigan did, and I don't know how many sacks Ryan Kerrigan has on the season, but he's having a good season. And Ryan Kerrigan, he's not elite. All right, he's not elite, but he is better than average, and that's why I harp on Preston Smith so much. Ryan Kerrigan never missed a game. Shows up. I see him getting held all the time, doesn't get called, but you also don't see him bitching and you know, he's not one of those people who talks all the time. He's just a blue-collar guy, does what he's supposed to do, tries his hardest, tries his damnedest, always around the football, always, you know, hustling. And it just, we need more players like Ryan Kerrigan. We need to replace all the Jordan Reeds of the world with Ryan Kerrigans, is what I'm trying to say. And which leads me into the Preston Smith segment. What did Preston Smith do today? Roll it. Okay, guys, so if you guys aren't on the train by now, man, you know, I used to go back and forth with Rich Chandler, who passed away this season. He was a writer for the Redskins for like ESPN or something like that, and he was constantly talking Preston Smith up, and I kept trying to explain to him over and over and over that I don't care about pressures. I don't care what he does pressure-wise. We want results. We want sacks. We want what we see Ryan Kerrigan do. We want that out of the opposite side. We want 2 Ryan Kerrigans on this team at least. I would prefer, you know, a better pass rusher on the other side, but at least we need to settle for 2 Ryan Kerrigans at least. Right now, Preston Smith is, in my opinion, god-awful. I mean, and you guys know that if you watch this channel, I've been harping on him for a very long time. But and that's the thing is, I don't see anyone trying to tell me no. I don't see any Redskins fan that are just like, oh no, Preston Smith's actually good, you need to lay off him. I really haven't seen many people, so I think a lot of people have, you know, woken up to this. But man, there's people out there like Rich Chandler and people who are, you know, they're part of the Redskins, you know, social media or whatever you want to call it. They have something to do with the Redskins. There's people out there who back Preston Smith, and I just do not get it. I just do not get it. He needs to go. I think he is going to go. I don't think we pay him. We need to draft a pass rusher, number 1. But that's getting off topic. Back to the football game. Tress Way has been sensational for us this year. Dustin Hopkins played a role in this game, and we did give up the punt return for a touchdown. But if you're gonna tell me, hey, you're gonna give up a special teams touchdown this game, but you're not gonna give up a offensive touchdown to the other team, I'm completely fine with that. You know what I mean? So special teams. Who knows what's going on with injuries and who's filling in for what spots. I've seen people dogging Maurice Harris for the muffed punt, and honestly, if you go back and you watch it, it's literally just the sun in his eyes. We all know Maurice Harris is sure-handed, and yes, we all know that he dropped a pass today, but that was the wobbly pass, the one that they pointed out that came out of Josh Johnson's hands, super wobbly. So I give Maurice Harris a pass. You guys know I like Maurice Harris. I don't think he gets the football enough. I don't sit here and analyze game film to see if he's getting off, if he's getting off of blocks or trying to get open and stuff like that. I don't know about that, but I know that when you throw the football to him, he catches it. That's all I know. And he's sure-handed, so I'm not worried about this football game where literally if you just go back and watch it, the sun's just hitting him in the eyes. The punt goes behind him. He's trying to find it. So if we lost that football, yeah, it's a different story. But he recovered it. So like I said, I'm not going to harp on him as of right now. Adrian Peterson. He had some crucial. He had some catches too. I think Adrian Peterson had the second most yards receiving in this football game or something like that. But I'm really impressed with Josh Johnson. The reason that this game was needed was because we are still in the playoff hunt. You guys know I would absolutely love for this team to make it to the playoffs, because then they could say, hey, look what we did when we're super injured. We never gave up. We had hope. We had heart. We never gave up. Doesn't matter who we played. We gave it our best, and we made it to the playoffs. Even if we get absolutely smoked in the playoffs, I don't care. We need to change the culture on this team, and if we can make the playoffs, I'm totally for it. Do I think it's going to happen? We got to beat Tennessee, and I just don't know if that's going to happen. But why I'm glad that this game happened and it happened the way it did, Josh Johnson and our team, we're on a 4-game losing streak. Now we got back in the win column. Even if was versus another bad football team, I don't care. It still helps build momentum. It still helps drive us into the next game. And sure, you can say the same thing about the Titans. They won today as well. But I just think this was really big for our football team. You guys know I'm still all about firing Bruce Allen. Still on the fence for Jay Gruden. I think we need to wait to the end of the season. I think we got to give it to the end of the season to judge him, because literally, man, just look at the injuries. Our long snapper, we just signed a new long snapper. Our long snapper, I mean, come on, man. You play special teams. Now, I understand, special teams can be rough too, but you're hardly on the field, man. And you when you're doing field goals and stuff, they can't even line up against you. It's just how does a long snapper get injured, man? And it's just ridiculous, the amount of injuries. Then we have Ty and Secchi go down in this football game. Don't know his status. The offensive line was horrendous. If we didn't have Josh Johnson, if we didn't have a guy who could move around, man, we're done. And I'm not for having a running quarterback. You guys know, we've learned our lesson. I look around the league and I see other people learning their lesson. Deshaun Watson, torn ACL. I called the Carson Wentz injury before it happened because he's running the ball too much. Lamar Jackson, he had 18 runs or something for 100 yards or something today. You can't do that in the NFL, man. It just takes one shot. We've learned this. If anyone's learned it, the Redskins know all about it. And I do not want a running quarterback, but as of right now, Josh Johnson, I like him. He brought a spark to this football team because I'm not even just saying that because of what's on the field. I feel like the guys around him, the team really does mesh with him. I think that he's coming in and he understands that this is a huge opportunity for him, but he's also playing it cool, man. He's not, he's just doing himself. He's having fun out there, and watching him, celebrate after the game. Like I said, I'm a Josh Johnson fan. All Redskins fans should be, because we have no other option. So I should have pulled this up before. But so basically, the reason that you guys need to be a Josh Johnson fan, I'm sorry, I should have brought this up earlier, but I'm gonna have to find it. I just want to read the article to you guys from ESPN. Actually, you know what? I know a faster way I can get to it. So the reason Redskins fans need to be a Josh Johnson fan is because we don't have any other option at quarterback. Looking into the future. So if you guys want to read this article for yourself, it's on ESPN. It's written by Adam Schefter and John Keim. And basically, before I get into it and I start reading some of it, just to kind of give you the rundown, we're not going to have money to get a quarterback next year. We're going to have to draft a quarterback, and I do not want to draft a rookie quarterback and throw him into the fire in the NFL. It just rarely works. It rarely works. And also, apparently, this quarterback class is not that great. So the whole Alex Smith thing, we owe Alex Smith a lot of money. He got a guaranteed contract where we're going to be paying for him the next couple of years. And like I said, what are our better options out there? Joe Flacco, Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, these aren't good options, man. There's not good options out there. And then if you want to even go out there and look at someone like Joe Flacco, we don't have the money. We literally we're not going to have the money. So let me get into this article. A financial scenario such as this, meaning Alex Smith. So if Alex Smith is unable to play, the Redskins would have to eat $20.4 million worth of cap salary next season and $21.4 million against the cap in 2020. About 13% of the salary cap. A financial scenario such as this would catapult the Redskins back to where they were in 2012, when the NFL docked the team $36 million worth of the cap salary space for front-loading contracts during the uncapped 2010 season. That penalty essentially amounted to 15% of the salary cap back then. That situation would now be a double whammy for the Redskins. Not only would the Redskins be losing their quarterback, as Alex Smith cannot return due to injury, which, I mean, come on, let's be honest. He's not coming back, man. Alex Smith's not going to play football again. But the team would also have less money to spend on a new quarterback, putting Washington at a major disadvantage for the next 2 years. The Redskins have only approximately $20 million in cap space this offseason, but they can release certain people. So yeah, basically, moral of this story is this contract with Alex Smith and him getting hurt has pretty much fucked us. Having a quarterback, giving him that money, the guaranteed contract, which, in my opinion, I think pretty much all NFL players, all major sports players make too much money, especially for a contact sport like the NFL, because of stuff like this. It will hinder the team if you give players too much money. It kind of that's why the NFL is turning into flag football and stuff, because teams don't want their $100 million quarterback to get injured in the first game of the season. And then, what are they supposed to do? They don't have money and stuff like that. So this is another reason, so I'm not saying this is Alex Smith's fault or something like that. I think this is a league-wide issue. I think these guys make too much money in general. I mean, I'm not for taking money away from people, but I'm also not trying to take away from the sport, which is a contact, physical sport. These guys know what they're getting themselves into, and yeah, so basically we're screwed for the next few years. And we could have a quarterback, and like I said, never mind. I'm not even gonna talk about what you guys know I want to talk about. Having people available on the football team who could play the position. But Josh Johnson, he's a running quarterback, man. How long can we? Even if Josh Johnson plays well these next few games, I'm still not super satisfied saying, hey, Josh Johnson's going to be our quarterback for the next 2 years. Are you? Our quarterback situation looks bleak right now. And that goes back to Bruce Allen. And whoever is pulling the strings on this football team, they have left us quarterback-less. But, hey, I like Josh Johnson. I think we could have worse options. Also, we haven't seen much, so still holding my judgment completely. I'm not really going to be fooled and sit here and think that Josh Johnson and with these injuries are going to go out here and beat the Titans next week. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But I just think, we saw it today in this football game. Way too many penalties. There's just no way we're going to beat a team like the Titans when we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We have so many new people, people just don't mesh with each other. People have just started practicing with each other. I mean, what can you really expect at this point? So, really, I'm really impressed with what the team showed today. They could have easily just sat down and gave up. Clinton Dix had one good pass breakup, but besides that, still taking horrendous angles, still looking very terrible. I think this should be the last game that we see Clinton Dix on the football field. I think we need to put his ass on special teams and bring back Monte Nicholson, because I want to win. I want to win. I want to make the playoffs. I want to put the best people on the field to get us to the playoffs. And like I said, I don't care if that takes us to run the football all 3 downs with Adrian Peterson. I don't give a shit what it takes. I don't care if we have to run the ball with Josh Johnson for 3 downs. I want to get to the playoffs. I want to win. So that brings me to the next point about Bruce Allen. We just let Capri Bibbs go. And I know that pisses a lot of Redskins fans off. I mean, come on. As I just explained to you guys earlier, we need to change the meta of this football team from not accruing all these constantly injured people like Jordan Reed. We need people who stay healthy. And guess who stayed healthy all year? Capri Bibbs played all year long. And he took Chris Thompson's spot and did pretty much everything we would ask Chris Thompson to do. He didn't do it almost as good as Chris Thompson, but he was healthy. He was available. He's shifty. He's fast. He can bounce to the outside. He can catch. I mean, he did a lot of stuff for us. Without him on this roster this year, we would have been way worse. Our offense would have been so much worse. And then we let him go today. We waived him yesterday to pick up a tight end. This is Mac Brown all over again, man. This is Mac Brown all over again. Redskins, even just the fans. The Redskins fans can sit here and say, that dude has talent. That guy can do something. I can see Capri Bibbs with getting more reps and becoming more a part of the offense. I can see him improving. I can see him being a real help for the football team. And now he's gone. And Bruce Allen, I mean, I'm sure that's a collective decision, but like, we're bringing in Byron Marshall. What the fuck do they love Byron Marshall so much for? I mean, he had to play today. He looked okay in like one run to the outside today. But it's just like, what? He's been injured all year. He just came back. And you're going to let the guy who's been healthy, who's made plays for us, go. Someone else is going to sign him. He's just gone. That's like, it's just so bad sometimes. Like the management of this football team. Mac Brown, everyone could sit there and say, that dude has talent. And then what's the coaching staff going to say? What's the organization going to say? Oh, we like Byron Marshall because, we have affiliation with him. We know him and he knows us. He knows the playbook. Da. All I hear is excuses. We saw Capri Bibbs. We saw Mac Brown. We saw all these guys that have talent. It's your job to coach these people. If you're going to sit here and tell me, Byron Marshall's better because he knows how to, maybe pick up blocks better in the run game or in the pass game, he can do this or do that or whatever. Teach Capri Bibbs then. That's your job. You're a coach. That's your job. That man has talent. There's people that we've seen that have talent. They don't get on the football field. I'm tired of it, man. This Capri Bibbs shit really pisses me off. We're a crew. Love Chris Thompson. Hasn't been himself. But guess what? We're losing people that stayed healthy. Rashad Breeland. Do you remember where it looked like he tore his ACL on the sideline? And then Jay Gruden called him Gumby? Because he played the next week? Everyone thought that he legit tore his ACL? And then he's Mr. Gumby over there and comes back and plays the next week. Never got injured. We're letting people like that go for people who cannot stay on the field. It makes no sense, dude. It makes no sense. So, in my opinion, Bruce Allen still's got to go. I mean, there's way too much shit on his plate. Way too much shit on his plate. The whole thing with like the Mason Foster type of thing, that goes against Jay Gruden. That goes against, anyone who's running this football team because they're not ruling with an iron fist. I'm sorry, but if you get caught talking shit about the fans or something like that, and I'm the coach or I'm someone in charge, guess what? Your ass is sitting on the bench, dude. You can't let the players run the team. You can't do it. It's just not going to work that way. It's never going to work that way. If you let the prisoners run the prison, it's not going to work that way. So I just think there's too much shit on those guys' plates. Like I said, I'll hold off my judgment on Jay Gruden to see the entire season and look back on it and think about it and say, hey, can we get someone better than that? Can we get a guy to come in here and get these guys backup offensive lineman? Can we get someone else to do what he's done? I just don't know if we can. Who knows who's going to be available after the season? So, like I said, got to hold the judgment. But Bruce Allen, he should have been gone. Should have. I'd get his ass out of here now. I don't give a shit if it's tomorrow. Get his ass out of here now. The Capri Bibbs thing, man, really rubs me the wrong way. Just when we think we're down and out and our season's over, that's kicking us while we're down right there. Honestly, in my opinion, I know some people might think I'm overreacting, but I don't think I'm overreacting. Capri Bibbs was pretty good for us this season, and I think he had I think he was our second best running back, and you're gonna just take him off. You're just gonna get rid of him for a guy who just came back from being injured all year. Multiple guys coming back from being injured since last year to this year. I just don't get it. I'm sure there's shit that I forgot to talk about. But yeah, I'm trying to stay optimistic. We could make the playoffs, man. We could. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. We gotta win the next 2 games. The Titans game is gonna be really hard. Like I said, with so many new people and so many new moving parts and stuff like that, you saw the penalties today. That's just going to be worse. It's just going to get worse. It's going to be worse. The only way we beat the Titans is if we get after Marcus Mariota's ass and we rattle his cage. I'm telling you, it'll work if we do it. I want to see Josh Harvey Clemens. He's pretty good at blitzing. Send his ass. Get to him. We got to spy Marcus Mariota and blitz his ass. I think Josh Harvey Clemens could get to him. So, all right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Hail to the Redskins.